munchies, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I'm Alicia and I'm so happy you're here either way. My relationship with the holidays and with food has shifted a lot over the past few years, and Thanksgiving is this week. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This year has gone by so fast somehow, even though it feels like it's taken forever. But I wanted to talk about relationships with food and food anxiety over the holidays. I used to really dread the holidays because of the food, and at the same time I also used to use the season as an excuse to eat whatever I wanted. Last year was really the first time that I didn't feel totally controlled by the holidays and regarding food. So either through the resistance of trying to, maintain control over food and my body, or by completely submitting, like the pendulum swings the other way, yo-yo dieting to, the I've blown it mentality and giving up completely and saying, well, I'll just start again on January 1st. So what changed? I'm gonna talk about this in January. So I actually have it's a series, but it's gonna be a free course where all the videos are posted on YouTube. So if you're subscribed, you'll get the videos. But the series is called Food Freedom, and it's gonna talk about how I shifted my relationship with food. It's a free course. You can sign up at mindovermunch.com/foodfreedom if you want the emails, because even though the videos are on YouTube, all of the additional downloads and content will be in the emails every single day, and it's completely free. You don't have to pay anything. It's just gonna be easier to distribute the information that way than like in all of the description boxes of every video, because it is a daily series. So Monday through Friday in January, I'm gonna be talking about relationships with food. So today I wanted to talk about a few perspectives and concepts that have helped me stay grounded and relaxed with food. I think for the last couple of years it's been growing, but especially this year amidst, the coronavirus craziness. So the first thing is taking it one day at a time. Getting connected with the present helps me ground here and now, so that I can decide what I want today, one day at a time and one meal at a time. Sometimes if I'm really present, I can even take it one bite at a time. So I have to remind myself of this, because it's really hard if you struggle with a fear of food, if you have anxiety around food and you're worried about gaining weight or trying to lose weight all the time, or you're stuck in kind of the dieting culture mentality as I was for a lot of years, I forget that one meal or one day isn't what makes the difference. You're not going to lose weight if you eat healthy for one day, and you're not gonna gain weight if you eat a bite or a meal or a day or a week of food. You're not gonna get fat or lose muscle or get heart disease from just these individual small choices. It's an overall accumulation, and kind of when these instances become habits that we can't break, that's when it's really a problem. But what I've realized is the more I can tune in now, the more I can make choices that serve me now. And the more I can do that each time, then it becomes an overall thing rather than an individual, and the fear kind of dissipates. I used to go through the holidays being so far from present. I was tuning out all the time, not in. And because I was always so stressed over the holidays, not just about food, but about family and finances and work and everything, I was eating to fill an emotional hunger rather than a physiological one. When I tune in here and now, I actually eat what I need now, and more importantly, I enjoy it because I'm paying attention. So when I'm tuning out, it's like I can eat all this food and stuff my face until my stomach is bulging and I didn't even taste a single bite. Now, when I'm paying attention, I can enjoy the process more. So I personally practice being present by meditating every single day. And I try to bring mindfulness to my daily life as much as possible. One of the main mindfulness teachers of the West, Joseph Goldstein, says the hard part isn't being mindful, but remembering to be. So if I ask you, one of the main cues and definitions I love for mindfulness, if I ask, what's happening now? And I ask myself this all the time, then you can kind of get a sense for what's happening right now in this moment. Not what's a thought about yesterday or in the future or whatever, but what's happening now. It's not hard to do, but it's hard to remember to do it. Okay, so the second concept that really helped me is what I've called permission. So a turning point in healing my relationship with food came when I decided to stop resisting. So instead of telling myself I couldn't have this or that, or by abiding by arbitrary food rules. So rules like how much can I eat, what kinds of foods I can eat or not eat, what times I'm allowed to eat. I decided to give myself permission to engage engage with foods that I had previously decided were unhealthy or unallowed. I started paying attention to my fear foods, which I talked about in a video a couple of months ago. I named this foods with emotional attachment or rules. And this framework really helped me notice how much fear I had around food, how food started to control me because of all these rules. By setting up these arbitrary rules, no one else set them. I mean, maybe the diets were setting them up, whatever arbitrary diet I was following was setting them up. But the only reason that I would feel so much resistance and stress was that I was too afraid to break the rule. When what's gonna happen? Nothing, right? Noticing this, seeing the fear and seeing how much the rules kind of owned me helped me start to disidentify from the food, and it helped me take the morality out of food. So before I used to think if I'm eating something that's healthy or unhealthy, then I'm good or I'm bad. But we're not good or bad because of what we eat, right? And it makes sense intellectually, but I didn't have a felt sense of it. Eventually though, once I started to notice these rules more and more and how much they were owning me, I was able to step back and just watch more objectively. Most of us who've ever been on a diet before know about food rules. And probably we have a few right now that we may not even be aware of. So this season, I encourage you, if this is resonating, this food rules concept, see if you can just notice the impulse to set a food rule or abide by them. I mean, they could be really sneaky. So it could be something like, don't eat lunch today so I can eat more at the holiday party tonight. Or if I work out today, then I can eat an extra cookie, or I can eat 2 cookies if they're gluten-free. All these rules are from personal experience, obviously, and there are loads more because I love rules. Now, I'm not asking you to take any different action regarding these rules, but I'm simply encouraging you to notice if they come up, because what I found is just noticing it, the action it'll start to change on its own. The problem is when we're not tuning in and we don't even notice that these rules own us, then they have the potential to own us. But when I start to notice it, it loses its grip, it loses its power. Okay, so comment below, what are the food rules that you know you tend to rely on? Just bringing some awareness to this. So the next concept that I want to talk about today, this is so relevant, especially during holiday eating, is being realistic. I mean, where are my pragmatists at? I lean toward what makes sense. But when I'm stressing out about food or health, I can't really see or think clearly enough to know what's practical. When we judge ourselves, we're not seeing clearly. So judgment becomes like an obstacle to seeing clearly. When I'm judging someone else or when I'm judging myself, I'm seeing it through a biased lens. So we need to kind of remove that judgment to be able to see clearly and see the truth of it. The truth of the holidays is, with the holidays comes a lot of delicious foods, whether I want them there or not. The temptations may be there year round. Like, yeah, I could go to the store and get a bunch of baked goods year round, but it doesn't feel impossible to manage like it can over the holidays, where, I walk into any house and there's cookies lying out and people are sharing their love for me through their food, and I feel pressured to eat it, and all of these things. So what makes sense is, I say don't try so hard to manage them over the holidays. I'm not saying to submit, to holiday binge eating and blow it by giving yourself permission to eat mindlessly and then start over on January 1st. I am suggesting that maybe the last couple of months of the year are probably not the time to start a new diet program, for instance. Really, I would argue that dieting isn't worth it at all, but we'll talk more about that in the January course. The fact is, the hardest part of a diet and of life is the mental aspect of it. It's mind over munch, right? If we try to lose weight over the holidays, we are likely to be filled not only with cookies when we eat emotionally because of our failing diets, but we're also left with the judgment and the shame. So instead of setting unrealistic goals to lose weight, consider making efforts to do something productive that also aids health. So instead of focusing on less and restriction and telling yourself you can't have this or that, what can you have more of? Focus on the abundance rather than the scarcity. Can you eat more fruits and vegetables throughout the season? A simple goal like that, rather than focusing on weight loss, is going to do more good for you long term anyway. So the last thing to touch on is self-compassion. Self-compassion is the antidote to that judgment. Remember that judgment keeps us from seeing clearly. What is self-compassion? So you would never say, stop eating so many cookies and work out, you fat slob, to me or to your friend, because you're a good human being. But so many of us speak to ourselves that way. Self-compassion is just taking the tone with yourself that you would take with a friend. So notice the tone that you take the internal tone when you talk to yourself this holiday season. Are you judging yourself? Are you telling yourself it shouldn't be that way? The word should is a great alarm for judgment. See if you can shift the tone to be slightly more understanding and kind. I think people often get confused thinking that self-compassion is like weak, but it's actually really neutral. Self-compassion is really like seeing clearly as they are instead of telling yourself a story that, you're bad, or you deserve judgment. The holidays are stressful. Finances, family, on top of it, all of the, tough COVID-filled 2020 stuff. Food and health can really compound that anxiety, and the stress isn't gonna help our health. In January, so much of what I wanna talk about in the course is how the stress that we're under trying to be healthy is actually making us less healthy. Based on some of the science that I've been reading lately, I'm really tempted to argue that we would be better off eating pie daily over the holidays rather than eating no pie at all and being perpetually stressed. We're gonna talk about this more in January. So you can sign up if you wanna be a part of this free course at mindovermunch.com/foodfreedom. This season, as you go through the holidays, I encourage you to get curious. Can you step back and watch your experience unfold? Just notice, are there food rules or exercise rules? Are you compensating for food with exercise? Are there attachments to, certain food rituals or routines, or are there judgments? Just notice the tone that you take with yourself. I'm not asking you to do anything differently, but rather to just watch like an observer and become aware of the way things are right now. After all, if we want things to be different, the first step is awareness and seeing clearly, because if we can't see what's happening clearly, then we don't know what to change. So if you want more content like this, subscribe and hit the bell. The free course goes up in January at mindovermunch.com/foodfreedom. Comment below and let me know, what are you most worried about this holiday season? What are your food rules, or where do you feel stuck with health and feeling good about your relationship with food the most? Okay, there will be no video this Thursday. I wanted to get it up now before Thanksgiving, but we will be back next Thursday with a brand new video. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones. Please be safe, and remember, it really is all a matter of mind over munch.